And we're back, and our guest on this segment is a gentleman named Travis Kidd. And I'm sure a lot of you folks out there know Travis, an area musician that has made his mark in the Tulsa area. And Travis, good to have you, buddy.
Hey, thank you. Glad to be here.
What's the current, and let me just first of all throw you a softball question. What is the current music scene in Tulsa?
Well, as far as what I do, I play 3 to 4 nights a week. I do it full time for a living. My position in the music scene is purely kind of based on making a living at it. I also involved in the art aspect of it somewhat. I've released and recorded some of my own music, and I perform that weekly along with a selection of covers that work for me to keep busy on the scene and keep money generating and for my family.
Well, sure. Mm-hmm. Keyboard or guitar?
I play guitar and sing. I do a lot of solo, acoustic solo events during the week, and I usually have a couple of band gigs on the weekends, Friday and Saturday generally, sometimes Sundays. But for instance, Tuesday nights, I play every Tuesday at Margaritaville in Tulsa. Wednesday, last night, for instance, I was at a solo gig at a restaurant, Craw Pappy's, a bar here in Tulsa. I'm off tonight. Tomorrow, Friday, I'm playing at a Cherokee Casino location. So that's basically my weekly run every week.
You have a busy calendar.
Yeah. I try to keep it booked up about 3 or 4 months in advance, and then
make a guess for me. If I were to say, how many professional musicians, working professional pros, do we have living here? What kind of an answer would you give me?
I would probably say, if they're doing it full time, maybe 10 to 15, maybe 20.
What about ancillary musicians, guys just on the perimeter trying to break in?
That are doing it as a hobby, or if they're doing it.
Yeah.
And there's lots. You can find music every night of the week in Tulsa somewhere, and it's I would say in the hundreds probably. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Emily Spivey, who is our director editor for this particular show, is a part of your group, and I'm not sure in which way because I've heard her play. No, I'm teasing. I have not heard her play. I don't know if she plays or not, but she has a big interest in music and was the one that helped us book you on to talk about the music scene here. You think music is important?
Oh, yes. It's my life. It's all I've known, really. Yeah.
But I mean, is it important to the general population?
Yes, definitely. As you can see, during pandemic, people started yearning for entertainment of any kind, and music was probably the number one outlet for that. Musicians started doing a lot of Zoom concerts, like kind of what we're doing right here, online events, and until things kind of cooled off a little bit, that was a pretty decent source of income for a lot of independent musicians that were still trying to make a living. And then it was also feeding that missing, what would I say? It was just like a void in, everyday life that people took for granted.
Sure. A lot of young ones out there too want to break in. And I know the term garage band doesn't carry a lot of weight with a lot of folks, but that's where they start.
Oh yeah.
In dad or mom's garage. And the next thing you know, they're cranking out CDs and touring, and their name's Garth Brooks.
Sure. Oh yeah. Everybody I know, we did it. I used to immediately after school, I grew up in Pryor. Yeah. And I would leave school with 2 or 3 of my buddies, and we would head to his mom's house, and we'd set up and jam until, the sun went down, and then everybody headed home for dinner. And yeah, it was great. Good times.
At least they knew where you were.
Yeah. We didn't have a whole lot of other interests at that time.
Are any CDs being made in this part of the world right now?
Well,
is it all going to some music service?
Right. I see a lot of vinyl coming out. I have a little bit of a problem, not really a problem with it, but things are being recorded mostly on digital recording software, and then they're trying to convert it back over to analog to be vinyl, which to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense because vinyl is analog, and it should be recorded on an analog recording system, then converted to analog. No conversion there that way. So people are doing it more, I think, as a vanity thing to release vinyl because it's the cool thing to do right now. Honestly, I wish CDs would make another comeback. To me, that was the best thing ever.
Oh, it was. There's an old story about Les Paul and Mary Ford that for some reason, he decided to take his guitar into the bathroom.
Yeah.
And he went in and closed the door and sat on the edge of the tub. Because there were some things going on at the house and he couldn't think, he couldn't hear right. And he sat on the edge of the tub, and that's where his famous sound came from, was the reverberation from the bathroom.
Wow. Yeah.
And so for about 2 years, he recorded in his own bathroom and made all those great records that he and his wife cranked out sitting in the bathroom.
Hey, that's the mother of invention right there.
You never know where it's going to come to. What about horn people? Are there many horn people around right now?
Not that I really know of. I run into a few guys here and there. The one in particular I can think of is Myron Oliver. He's a friend of mine. Of course, there's Grady Nichols that everybody has heard of, he's incredible. I don't really hear about that a whole lot. I'm mostly into the stringed instrument side of it. So
there used to be a trumpet player named Maynard Ferguson back in the day. Played screech trumpet. And I know a fellow that lives in Arkansas, has a small farm and a huge barn. One of the finest trumpet men I've ever known, graduated in Juilliard. And the COVID thing just knocked him completely out of work.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so he went back to the farm and he had a few head of cattle, and legend has it from his wife that he gets out in the barn and blows that trumpet of his in screech level. I mean, way up there.
Oh, yeah.
And the cows now are used to it. They just go right on, eating just like he's not even there. Hard to imagine, but it's out in the country where she says he's of opinion it doesn't bother anybody.
That's great.
And it's like a lot of the folks in our symphony that play symphony level music. They play it like on the back porch, or on the deck. Just if they can't be together as a body and they want to practice someplace different and the weather, cooperates, they'll take their cello or their violin or viola and go to the back porch.
Oh, yeah.
Or the balcony. And it's amazing. The neighborhood, is enriched by the sounds of music.
That's nice. Yeah.
It is a good touch. What's on the horizon for you? Are you going to try to pump some CDs out for us anytime soon?
Well, yeah, I actually have, we finished recording some stuff right around when the pandemic actually started. And I've released 2 singles in the last year on Spotify, just on online streaming platforms. Nothing on hard copy yet, any CDs or vinyl or cassettes, I think, are even trying to make a comeback. But no, I've got 5 more songs that we've recorded that are still in the mixing phase. A few of them I've been utilizing an online service called Bandcamp. It kind of is an alternative to Spotify or iTunes. It gives more money and more control to the artist. It's a pretty cool platform out there right now. If you want to check it out, you can also use it for merchandise sales. People sell vinyl. It's like a storefront that actually you can make some money on, rather than Spotify, which is barely a quarter of a penny per play. Now you can actually sell downloads again on Bandcamp, and the fans can set their own price, which is really neat. If they want to drop a tip on there or pay a little extra, that really helped during the pandemic. I would say in April or May of 2020, everybody that I knew really jumped on this Bandcamp app, and people were very glad to support musicians again. And like you said, we talked earlier, it was a void that was missing that we're glad to get back.
Is it called bandcamp.com?
Yes, bandcamp.com. Yes, there's a lot of Tulsa musicians on there, a lot of regional, and there's also major, national acts that are on there that put up cool stuff that you normally can't buy anywhere else. So, yeah.
I have a lot of guys that and gals who are now members of the Jazz Hall of Fame, locally and nationally, who live here quietly.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing the number of musicians, pros, that call Tulsa home, but they're never home. They're always on the road.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I know quite a few people. My friend Matt Maxwell he's been playing bass for country music superstar Luke Combs for the last few months, and before that he'd been touring with a lot of major artists, and he lives in Tulsa. Tulsa's great. I see a lot of people coming this way from Nashville or from Austin or from New York City or LA. They land in Tulsa and they love it.
Okay, have you got any touring plans coming up?
I do. I pretty much stick around about a 250-mile radius from Tulsa in the last, I'd say the last 10 years. I've started a family. I've got two twins. They're 12, and then I've got a little girl that's 14, and my wife teaches school in Bixby. So I stick around pretty close to home nowadays. Back in my 20s and 30s, I would tour around and go as far as I could and play coast to coast and border to border if I could. And
make an old man out of you, Travis.
Exactly. Now I've found a way to I got a system down to where I can do it and be home every day and every night, back to bed. Wake up,
Travis,
do it again.
I hate to do this to you, but we're out of time. Thank you for taking time to visit with us, and look forward to hearing you down the road, buddy.
Thanks, Sam. I appreciate it. Appreciate
Take care of your chops and watch your fingers.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Folks, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here next time.